Yes, Zaga. Yaga. You know the vibes. You rocking out with yours truly Showtime Sizzle. I am the source, Shaw News. This is the source experience. It is approximately 6 a.m. on the East Coast, New York, Long Strong Island to be exact. As a content creator, YouTube content creators, you constantly got to create content. And as I sat back wondering, you know, about a sport that has been good to me over the years, many years now in the game, I said, how can I continue to create content on YouTube? What can I do? And then it dawned on me for the many years of covering the sport and the climate that it's at now, and just overlooking my catalog and just, being around guys and noting on behaviors and talks. I said it's time for the Gibberish Series. And this is just not towards the fighters. This is also towards people such as myself that, cover the sport, that talk about boxing every day, have we have social media groups, we have YouTube accounts, we have all these things, right? So I felt the need as a YouTube creator to come with the Gibberish series. So today, this morning, the Gibberish rhetoric treat, we are going to examine Jamel Charlo, Big Mo, like they like to call him. Throughout the many years, he is a two division champion. Two division, yeah. Remember, junior middleweight champion. We have the IBF crown in junior middleweight. Then he moved up WBC middleweight champion. He's been a champion for a long time, but yet he has not had a defining fight as a champion. Some may say Julian J. Rock Williams and junior middleweight, but he has been a middleweight champion for a while now. Still hasn't had that defining fight. And I only reflect on that because we're getting the trilogy with Triple G and Canelo. But this guy, who has a champion, like I just said, is a champion, has been gibberish for many, many years. A lot of the fans that follow him and support him also have to be held accountable because they are somewhat gibberish in their talks and defending a lot of his actions over the years. But let's go back to one of the original gibberish rants from him. And I was present at this one many years back at the Barclays Center. Before Danny Jacobs transcended to where he's at now, there was whispers of him and Danny Jacobs fighting, and this is around the time when Danny Jacobs, who uh, was a PBC fighter at one time, but he went and got the deal with HBO and Matchroom. And I can recall being in the back of the Barclays Centers and Lions Only Mall. Him, always a big entourage. Uh, the guys was interviewing him. The what I like to call the boxing paparazzi. At the time, they was all interviewing him. They had their cameras out. They asking him questions. And who, by the universe, happens to walk through other than Daniel, the Miracle Man Jacobs, by himself, by himself, and nice and calm and collective, diplomatic, gentlemanlike. Asking Jamal, brother, like came up on him like on some. I'm just gonna reenact it without the, the same terminology, but you're gonna get the points. So he sees him. He says, "Brother, man, what are we doing? Because remember they were saying that the whispers was that Danny was ducking him. Danny didn't want to fight him around this time. They was hyping Jamal up like how they have been doing his whole career, hyping him up, and he's like one of the most avoided fighters. So when Danny confronted him, Danny brought to his attention um, that I'm touching M's, because Danny had got the deal with HBO. He was like, I'm touching M's. Have you seen an M yet? Are you seeing M's? Gibberish talk follow from Jamal. Look it up yourself. He said, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. Gibberish. Gibberish. That was gibberish language for the first time from him. Uh Last fast forward another particular time. Now he has gone on to become a champion in the middleweight division. The fans, people want to see him fight Demetrius Andrade, who was also a champion. This could be a unification bout. Uh, it is alleged that Eddie Hearns, this is pre-COVID when the money was actually there, and definitely Matchroom Eddie Hearns, they was throwing out that money like that. It's alleged that he was offered $7 million for a unification bout with Demetrius Andrade. Gibberish. He turns it down allegedly, or call Al. I remember as a video. It might be in my catalog where he was on live, Instagram live, and Eddie Hearns jumped on his live, and Eddie Hearns, being who he is, very witty. He was talking to him about making a fight, right? And Eddie Hearns referenced to him, lines only promotion, right? You're your own promoter, lines only. Let's make this fight. Gibberish rhetoric follows. Once again, when Eddie Hearns puts him on the stage as you are your own promoter, right? Lines only promotion. Let's make the fight. Gibberish language follows and call Al. But if you're your own promoter, yeah, Al is your advisor. You can line that up, right? But hey, what do I know? Let's move on. See, this is the pattern now. I just showed you two gibberish acts, two gibberish languages, two gibberish behaviors from Big Maul Charlo throughout his luxurious championship career. Let's fast forward to a little more recent time. Um, Mike Tyson podcast. He's Mike Tyson has him on the couch. Yes, Mike has him on the couch. Now this fight, they've been going back and forth for a little while, building it. They had a confrontation, I believe, at the Spence Ugas fight. But I can recall Mike Tyson saying, "Call out the Mexican monster," aka David Benavidez. Now this is a guy who has stated publicly in interviews and other things that, and he used the P word. Do I smell? Do I smell? Do I smell? Remember that on the house party? Yes, he used that word in regards to Big Maul Charlo. Now here is Maul Charlo on the Mike Tyson podcast on the couch. And Mike is like, call the motherfucker out. Call him out. Mike couldn't even force a call out. Gibberish. Gibberish. But yet, uh, the fans, the bloggers, the YouTubers, guys like myself, the social media groups, no one wants to hold him accountable. No one wants to say, yo, God, you really not putting on. You really not um going after the glory. You really not. It's like, when are you going to actually fight another champion or be like your brother? Now, yes, his brother, I could have put him in the gibberish Reddit too, but when it comes to where he's at in the game as being an undisputed champion and going through adversity and losing to Tony Harrison and coming back and becoming champion again, now being undisputed, I sort of gave him a pass in the gibberish volume talks. Because here's a guy that wanted to be great, dared to be great, and now is great. But his brother, though, Big Mo, on the other hand, he has had all type of opportunities. You know, Caleb Plant fights, David Benavidez fights, Demetrius Andre fights, but yet he does not give this to the people. And as a champion, it is kind of gibberish to me, especially the way he talks when he speaks on David Benavidez brings nothing to the table. How? Because he's not a champion right now, but this is a two-time super middleweight champion who was undefeated. But yet you was allowed to speak gibberish when asked about fighting him. You was allowed to become gibberish in your behavior and sweep it underneath the rug like he brings nothing to the table. And I just said he's a two-time undefeated super middleweight champion who one time lost his belt because of a drug, illegal substance. I believe it was cocaine or something in the system, and then another time on the scale. But yet, the fans, the bloggers, the media, the content creators gave you a pass for gibberish acts. Gibberish. Gibberish. Now let's move on. This guy's still sitting around waiting for a Canelo Alvarez fight. He wants to cash out, but yet nobody calls him out for his gibberish behavior and gibberish acts. It's okay for him, like I said, as a champion, a two-division champion, to sit around and fight basically guys who aren't worthy of a fight, and then wait around for a Canelo fight. Gibberish, gibberish, gibberish. Now I say all that to say this, right? And shout out to the Boxing Voice. I reposted a thing that Ness said yesterday. Something that I've been saying and speaking on for many years. And it's good to see it catching on, right? But I want to say this as a champion. This guy's been a champion for many years, two divisions. When will we hold fighters and champions accountable for not fighting other champions or even not having championship level caliber fights that defines them as champions. Like I just said, Mo Charlo has been a champion in two divisions for many, many years. His career defining fight probably is Julian J. Rock Williams at junior middleweight. As a middleweight champion that he has been for many years now, he hasn't fought nobody. His past fight, I have to say allegedly, was in his hometown and he suffered an injury. But word to the source, like I said, alleged is the tickets wasn't moving. A June, what is it, Juneteenth, June 18th fight in his hometown, his adopted hometown, Houston, wasn't selling. I think the gibberish talk and the gibberish behavior is finally catching up to him, and the public is not buying it. Now, sure, you have a whole bunch of channels that want to be down, want to be cool, they want to be accepted, so they don't report on it or they overlook it. But that's why they are being held accountable too with the gibberish series now. Because yes, this guy's fight got canceled because of an injury, but allegedly it was because they couldn't give out enough tickets, let alone sell tickets for a fight in his adopted hometown. I think when it comes to Maul, Charlo, Big Maul, all of the gibberish behavior and talk and movement in the fight game has finally caught up to him. It's finally caught up to him and it's starting to show. That's why I felt the need to highlight him in volume 3 of the Gibberish series. Uh, Feel free to share this video. I'm going to keep it under 20 minutes. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. You're rocking out with yours truly, Showtime Sizzle. I am the source. Shy News, YouTube content creator, media marketing agent slash photographer. You know the vibes. Zaga, Yaga. Please keep it not gibberish because the gibberish sauce isn't the sauce that you want. You'd rather have the sauce on sauce. And hopefully y'all caught that sauce. Everybody enjoy their Monday. Be great. Keep God first and go after it. Go after it. It's out there. Ahala.